Welcome to Heroic Round, an actual play TTRPG podcast. Join me and my three best friends as we journey through Dungeons, Dragons, and dubious decisions. Grab your dice. We're here to live heroic and die historic.
All right, welcome back to Heroic Round, where we sing half the time, and the other half we roleplay.
We're courting.
The other half we're courting.
We're questing.
We're questing, and we did right, Okay. So,
Zach.
she runs into you as you step out into the hallway. I'm dreadfully, dreadfully sorry. It's my first week, and I get turned upside down trying to get from the kitchens to the guest chambers to the broom closets. You see that there is a half-elf woman with short brown bob, golden eyes. She's lithe of body with a surprising dump truck of a booty. And she is just right outside of the guest room when you kind of came out ready for dinner. Okay. I'm to conduct you to the Lord's table for supper. He's positively emptying the cupboard on your behalf. You must be important. Are you some lords, like important from some faraway place?
We're doing the Lord's work, if that's what you mean. We're here on the business the Lord's guards on me, y'all.
So you're doing some churching then, I assume.
Sometimes guilt really makes people act differently.
What? Why would you say that to me? Roll your sense motive.
I got comes out of cute. They don't call them inquisidons. Sense motive.
Wait, don't they call inquisidors?
Is it an inquisido? I don't know what that means.
Inquisidors.
I don't know what that means.
An inquisido?
They don't call them inquisidons.
They call them inquisidors.
That's that goes. That's
I got a
on
12.
shirt.
I got a 12, Chad.
A 12. Okay. Okay, so you're absolutely oblivious. You're just staring at this person. You guys roll a sense motive as well. Now remember, you are in the one of the underground hallways of the Thorn Fort. Okay,
26.
26.
So
13.
when we left,
13.
are we in two separate rooms still?
Yeah, so you have rooms across from each other.
Okay.
There's two.
The inquisidors face
The
each other.
inquisidors face each other across the hallway within the Thorn Fort, and you're in, remember it's this long hall. It's dirt floors, but it's been packed almost to stone from how the hundreds of years or whatever that it's been here. There are torches that burn in the hallways, but the rooms that you're in are actually the hollowed trunks of massive trees. And so when you go in, the bottom floor where you enter, like the entry room or like the mud room of these quarters that you're staying in, are stonework and very like clean and nice. And then there's a stairway that goes up into the main floor of like a wooden, it's like polished wood, almost like smooth with, sanding and staining and time. And there are even like furnishings that are like carved out of the wood, almost like they were part of this, for the last 100 years that this tree has grown.
And there are balconies that face each other.
Yeah, and when you up above, there's a loft within, so you can see down from the very topmost floor down to the bottom floor within, and there's a balcony that looks out and faces other rooms of similar, design and style. These trees that are above, and above it's really beautiful. There are these lightning bugs and drooping boughs of these trees that you look out from, and you can tell that from the ground, like, if you were walking through here, you would just think it's kind of like a wild section of Thornhaven, but in reality, you're seeing like the hidden tree. There's these rooms in the hidden treetops, So you see that there are other, beautiful chambers like this, just accessed elsewhere, from above.
As a druid, I approve.
Okay. But we're fast forwarded to the point of where you guys are kind of like ready for dinner. You're leaving your quarters and you just run into this girl in the hallway. Now, Brandon, or LS, you are seeing, I still want to know what the joke is, but you're seeing that when you run into her, you can see that Zach's comment kind of feels like it maybe hit her a little close to home. Like you just notice that she feels a little jumpy, with that kind of comment.
I just want to apologize for my friend. Sometimes he gets a little overzealous in his approach. But you know what? Everybody just kind of worships in their own way. You could be part of God's army too if you want.
You see,
I guess not really. We're saying
she is like playing with a necklace that she has around her neck nervously. And she's like, well said.
Well, no, I don't want you to misinterpret what he thinks I said for what I actually said. Sometimes when you're heavy with guilt, it can make you do strange things. And I put my hand on her shoulder and I give her just an affectionate little squeeze.
Okay.
But guilt.
I don't think that's wanted.
But guilt can be removed through repentance.
Okay. You see that she does a swallow, like kind of a and then it says, "Well, they're waiting at the board. I'll be in trouble if I take too much longer to get you there. Please follow me. My name's Alicia." And she starts to lead you.
Come on, Alicia.
So you're all from the south then, I guess.
Yeah. And what is on her necklace? Is it a green man?
No, it looks like the necklace is just like a small jewel, like almost maybe like a birthstone or something is set in some metal. It's not like super fancy. It's not like a big pendant. It's just small with a delicate chain.
Yeah, we're from the big city. Lots of crime there, but there's some really good things about it too. I like your necklace. Where'd you get it from?
Oh, I've had it since I was a little girl.
Oh, it's very lovely.
So what's the city like?
Well, it's full
You
of
said
crime.
it's full of crime?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Bad folk, huh?
No,
It's wonderful.
there's bad things, but there's good things. I mean, there's lots of churches. You can worship every day, every corner.
Well, there's one church you should follow.
Okay.
Well, there's one true church, but they have little churches on every corner.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Fair. Very fair. All right, love, carry on.
All right. So she leads you down this hallway, back a direction that you've come before when you came with Millie the first time you were here. And you get back to what looked like this throne room central chamber of the Thorn Fort. And you can see that there is this beautiful, there's water trickling. It's that area where there's some access to the sky. And it's gotten dim in here, but you can see they've brought in these standing candelabras that have, candles on them to kind of light the space and warm it up a little bit. And the table that you'd seen in here previously is now set. You can see that it's set for a lot of seats, actually. So as you're approaching, you can see that there is a female dwarf that's there. She has a cheek mole that you see instantly. It's like one of those moles that it's aggressive. It's an aggressive mole that just kind of greets you as you come in. And she has a heavy steel wool colored hair and big braids. And she's wearing a dress that goes up on her throat and all the way down to her wrists and is floor length and has lots of buttons, like buttons on the sleeves, buttons all the way down her bust. She's just kind of very buttoned up.
So she has syphilis, is what I'm understanding from this.
And she's stupid wide. But you can see as you guys approach, she says, she's like, "I see that Alicia did in fact find you after all." And you see she has an eye roll. "Took you long enough," she says under her breath to Alicia.
Sassy.
And you can see she's like, "Mrs., my apologies," and kind of defers to her. And she goes, she's like, "I'm Bina Wood Dweller. I'm the head of the house here. And I'm pleased to make your acquaintance."
Well, Bina, it was all of my fault. We got a little bit talking about guilt and the weight it can be for some people. And was not I Alicia? Apologize. Wanted to make sure that name was correct. I'm not quite familiar with names in the north, but I'll soon learn. But it was my fault. We were waylaid. So you can retract that statement of aggression towards Alicia. And I wait for her to do it.
Oh, okay. You see, she's like, "Oh, don't you worry about Alicia. She's just some of the help. She's new and she's not really good at it yet," is what she says. And Alicia at this point has curtsied and is going away.
All right, great.
Is kind of going away.
What was her name again, Chad?
Bina.
Wood Dweller.
She says, "We have places set for each of you." You notice that at the table, there is a clean napkin pushed through a metal acorn, shining silver cutlery, and polished stoneware that's ready for your meal. And you notice as well that there is, at one of the seats, there's a booster seat set up on one of the chairs. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 place settings. Okay. Now, you notice at this moment, she points you guys to sit down. She's like, please go ahead and take your seats. And at this time, you notice that there is a halfling, a male halfling, comes waddling in. It looks like his legs maybe pain him as he waddles in. He has a weak chin and flaky skin and sort of wispy gray hair, and he's wearing kind of a floppy cap that's off to one side. But he's wearing a bright blue color. And you see that he comes over, and there's a small step stool next to the booster seat, and he works his way up onto it. And she says, "This is Chancellor Greg Dumit, and he handles all the chancery here for us, and has done so for decades and decades." And you see that he's like, good to meet you. And he sits down. He seems kind of in pain or grumpy, as he sits.
I actually thought the booster seat was for me. I was quite upset.
You can see that he looks over at you, kind of through his little gray eyes. And he's like, big fellow like you shouldn't need a booster. And you see that he looks and checks his cup. And he's like, is the wine coming? He's kind of upset. And at this time as well, you can hear the clatter of another individual approach. It's this human male, but he must have an orc somewhere in this genealogy. His forehead's too flat and his underbite a little too pronounced. You can see that he has a red glow on his cheeks. He's old and solid. He has a dark storm of hair with a graying beard and sort of a mean eye and his scarred hands. But you notice that his greaves that he's wearing have the look of like polished wood, as he approaches, and he sort of just rattles with the clothing that he wears. And she says, "This is our head of guards, Sir Cedric Oakengreaves, and he has also been here for decades, leading the guard." And you see that Cedric is like, visitors! It's good to see new folk in the kingdom. Tell me now, where are you from? And you see that he comes and plops down at one of the chairs, as he's greeting you.
Chad, what was the name of the city?
Victoria.
That's the Thornberry.
No, where we're from.
Sorry. You guys are from Serenia.
Serenia.
Yeah, sorry.
I say we traveled from Serenia.
Great.
Sent by the church.
Great.
The holy they then, on their behalf.
I see. Devout folk. Good. We need some of that around here. All of you then, from the church. Questers, huh?
Or in the employ thereof.
We're trying to get our friend here to be knighted so he can be Sir Quester.
Your feeble jest escapes me.
I'm really bad at
I'm with you, my
wordplay.
friend. He tries. Sometimes he gets it.
Lord knows I tried.
This
So
time he missed it.
just traveling through then, or you see at this time too, while he's asking that, Alicia comes back and you see that there's a young man with her as well, and they're fully garbed as servants, aprons, but look clean and neat. And they come back with some flagons of wine and begin to pour for each of you. So just traveling through then.
I said, well, in the light of many ears being around, we might have time for you and I to speak. We are investigating a murder.
Oh, the Quiet Friars.
Yes.
Aha.
Well, Cedric, I don't want to have...
Cedric points to the flagon, to come over. And you get a sense when he's close enough, you can smell the alcohol on him. Like he's already in his cups.
Yeah.
And they come and pour for him, and he drains his cup while he holds the arm of the server. You know what I mean? So like they poured it, he drains his cup, holds their arm, and then he has them fill it one more time before they step away. Does that make sense?
There's weird boundaries here. People touching people without permission. I don't know if I like it very much. But I can appreciate a man that drinks. We're here to help. That's what we do. The church, we help. Under the direction of the holy they them.
So have you been out then to the friars yet?
No, the the head of your guard thought we were the bandit king Can't remember his name.
I think he's the head of the guard.
No,
Oaken Greaves.
Oh, you mean Sir Thorn?
Sir Thorn. In his overconfidence.
He has a lot of zeal, but he does not have a lot of wits. But we'll take zeal in days like these, won't we? See, his teeth are red from the wine.
Okay.
Those are interesting. Are those, so your name, Oaken Greaves?
Yeah.
That's nice. Is that related to the greaves that you have on? Are they a family heirloom?
He claps him with his hand, and he's like, not much more to the story other than that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
But the name came first. I'm from a family of Oaken Greaves and thought might as well make some greaves to match the name.
You know, that's a nice touch.
So instead of leaning into it, you stepped into it.
Indeed, I did.
1-0 there. LS.
Well, we're all part of God's army, so
He's a good
I get a
lad.
point for it too.
So tell me your names then. You're Monroe. No.
Flavius
Orsini.
Orsini.
Good.
Of the family Orsini.
Wonderful. Lots of history in that name, yes?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Good. Good. And you?
I'm Mac.
Mac, you have a bit of wildness to you.
Aye.
I think you fit in just fine with our woods.
It's delightful here.
Good.
I'm LS.
LS.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I like your voice, LS.
Thank you.
You're a polite gentleman, I see.
You know, I learned it in the South where I'm from. It's always nice to be friends with people. My mama used to say you get more flies with honey than vinegar, so.
It's a good way to live.
South of the city, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter.
Are we gonna eat yet, or what's going on? You see,
Chad, so
go ahead.
there's a lot of age
Yeah.
in these two dudes.
Yeah. Well, even in Bina, you know, you get
It's
the
been a
sense
while.
it's been a while. You think like
So
this
Bina,
these three look
the
like they've been
Chancellor,
here for
and
a
the
long
Cedric.
time.
So the one leading it, there's a lot of
It's a lot of age and history here.
stodginess.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
All right.
And like you can tell, you get the sense that there's a lot of like, this is how we do things. This is the way that we are. You know, that sort of thing.
It doesn't feel like they're facing a lot of problems.
Yeah, they're not being tried in a lot.
They're
of
not
ways,
being
but
tried
they-
in a lot of
yeah.
ways. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Shouldn't we wait for the Lord?
You don't have to
that's-
wait
that-
much longer. He's here.
Oh,
we
that's
see that the Lord walks in as you're saying that.
Perfect.
Okay, you see that
I wasn't talking about they, them. By
he
the way.
comes in and he's taking off his gloves. Okay, and he walks in. He's like, "This has not been an easy day. A letter of suit arrived from a neighboring kingdom informing us that the Briarwood name is to be changed at once. From henceforth, we shall be called Thornhaven, and all Briar derivatives shall be retired." You see that he seems disgusted with himself. Okay. He goes to add insult to injury. Lady Ilaria has taken ill and will not be joining our meal. My apologies. You see, he takes his chair.
Chad, roll a sense motive on that because
go ahead.
something didn't feel quite. 15 plus 6, 21.
Well, he's thinking I'm going to say, I'm so sorry for the hard times you've had to deal with.
It's just part and parcel for the role of being the lord of a land.
A heavy mantle indeed.
Indeed. But I can bear up under it. Don't you fret. You can sense that he's mad, and you don't necessarily believe that Lady Ilaria is ill. Does that make sense?
Yep. So I'm going to use this and be like, well, as a paladin of the Holy Order of the Serpent, I have been bequeathed by the Holy They Them with special powers to heal. So at once I shall go help her. Where are her chambers?
Please don't bother yourself.
Listen,
She has wished to be left alone.
But if she's sick and ill, I will help her.
We have our own ways of dealing with such. Thank you for your kindness, though, and your generosity, good sir. But no, we shall be okay. Also, you said a word there in a way I've not heard before.
TH, not F.
That's what I said.
I don't know what happens in the South, but I hope that I hope to never be bequeathed in my
Do you need me to bequeath some of my healing upon your...
I don't give
We
consent.
shall have our meal without any bequeathing. He claps. And you see that at this time, a cart is rolled in by the young fellow. And you see that Alicia and he have now donned some gloves, some like white gloves, and they start to bring around the food to your placemats. You see that the first course looks like it's some sort of weedy, grassy salad with a handful of unrecognizable nuts and an acorn dressing.
Oh, are these D's nuts?
And I'm no. What are the nuts?
They must not have them up here in the north. It's more of a southern thing.
Down south, below the belt.
These nuts.
What are these nuts? He asks Alicia, and she says, "I believe those are pine nuts." He's like, "Pine nuts."
Thank you very much.
I like how toothsome they are. Yes, and you see he takes a big heaping bite of some weedy, grassy salad. It's dripping and
I
dressing.
join him. I dig in.
You see that as you're digging in, these dark beer loaves arrive that are piping hot from the oven, and the soft bread just drinks the pads of butter that you slab on, and it makes up for the, kind of this grassy salad. It's a nice, good, earthy loaf. Okay, so you see that the Lord Thornhaven, you see that he says to you, he goes, "So I'm assuming that you'll want to be on your way at first light, going out to see the Silent Brothers and investigate this murder?"
I think so.
Yeah, and if I could have a little bit of time with you after dinner, that'd be helpful.
I'd be happy to share a cup of something and talk in my quarters even.
Exactly.
How have the servants been treating you since you've arrived? Have you been made welcome in my keep?
Absolutely, yes. I feel at home, even though I'm not from home.
He goes, "This is a reflection of Bina here. She's a wonderful head of house. Well done, Bina." And you can see that she kind of colors a little bit with the compliment from her lord. But you
How
can
old
see
is
that
he? How old
She
is him?
says really quick, she's like, "It's easy to hire folk these days to help in the keep. It's hard to hire good help." You see she kind of like eye rolls again at Alicia. And then the Lord says to her, have the clay servants been tested?" And she goes, "Not yet. We're having trouble getting them to work. We'll find the trick of it." He's like, I'm very interested to see how that goes."
Clay servants? What are they in?
That's I think that's a slur about dwarves, I believe.
No.
No, have you seen them? These clay servants. They're actually coming up from the south. I think the port of Morvo. They're these servants that you just assemble and they obey your commands. Quite expensive, but they have these wonderful ability to work for you without sleeping or eating or other things of that nature. I think that every keep ought to have them.
That sounds interesting. I'm gonna roll my. Sorry, it's hard to get out of that. Knowledge, local or arcana?
Sure.
Arcana, maybe, just to get like an idea of like what is he talking about? I got a 12 to think.
You think? You know that there are like golems and things that, that's like
So
first thing that comes to mind. You're just like, oh, maybe they're golems.
Like a construct of some kind.
Yeah. So you see that the Lord has a mouthful, of the first course and leans over to Cedric. And he's like, "There have been rumors of the foxtails hiding out at the Sourstone Plummet. Has that been investigated?" And you see that Cedric is like, "I've got men chasing rumors all over the wood. We're chasing shadows and figments. We've not a bandit to fill a cell." So he seems kind of pissed.
So along those same lines, on the way in, there were a bunch of signs that said, like, "Don't leave the path." And how are these bandits keeping out of y'all's grip? Do they know the woods better, or is there a trick to the woods? I don't really
It's a
understand.
great insult to me and my house, is what it is. Because the only way that the bandits could elude us, is if they know intimately us. I have feelings that, you see he's kind of getting a little more quiet, they're around us more than we think. And I think they have eyes on what's going about in our keep. They seem to just stay just ahead of us.
So like somebody is bequeathing secrets to them.
Queef, ETH, said it wrong.
There's definitely queefing going on around here. Now, Brandon, I want you to roll a spot check at this moment.
Okay.
Bina's just queefing in the corner.
She's doing a handstand.
15.
15.
15.
Okay.
You guys know how that works, right?
Okay. 15. I'm going to send you a text message because it's something only you would see.
Aye, she is bearded.
You notice a whisker coming out of that aggressive cheek mole, and it's saying,
LS, look at us.
Is their animal companion is a mole?
It's gone across the table towards you.
A prehensile mole.
She worked with a wizard that wasn't quite understanding what she was meaning by saying she wanted a mole as an animal companion. It's like, okay.
Mac, does
okay.
the underground count as nature? Or is above
So
ground
at this
count as
point, you
nature?
notice that course 2 is brought out. So your plates are cleared by Alicia and the young fellow. And the second course comes out. It's a gamey piece of meat swimming in a buttery acorn sauce, resting on a root puree and garnished with cinnamon. You see that,
Spicy.
you see that the Lord takes a bite of it and is and goes to his cups to try to chase it down. He's like, a bit heavy-handed with the cinnamon. He has a moment.
Those were also my thoughts.
I cut a piece of the meat and then I dip it in my water. I eat it.
Just leaves this gravy swimming in the water.
Yeah.
You see that he takes another bite of it, and you see he's like seems a little put off by it. He's like, I apologize for my kitchens, because the meat is mostly gristle.
You're really struggling.
It's been a bad day.
How can I help you?
This is just a good diversion. Tell me about things goings on in the capital, Sanctum, anything. Tell me news of the South. We actually get fewer travelers here than ever before. I don't know if we're doing something wrong.
Not to toot his horn for him, but my friend here actually is a great orator of stories and all sorts of good.
Thank you, mate.
And also my other friend here, both of my friends, they're great orators. Stories.
Mac, let's hear a story.
Yeah, give us a story. A song, then, perhaps.
Tell us about your favorite thing in nature.
No.
Tell us about your favorite.
Don't be shy. Please indulge us.
I really like daffodils.
Daffodils.
What the hell is a daffodil?
It's a flower, mate. It's gorgeous. Make you weep.
Okay.
And what's the big deal about them? I'm over 2. Can I get a little more of this wine, please?
They come and pour your flagon, and Brandon, you notice it again.
So, yeah,
And this time you're able to pick up something.
Oh.
So let me share.
Perfect,
Sure.
because regardless, I was going to make some uninterrupted eye contact with Aisha.
It's not Aisha, it's Alicia.
Boom.
Huh?
Okay.
What is
So they
Aisha.
clear the current course, and you see that the final course is brought out. You see, it's like, finally some dessert, yes. And the course itself is a sweet acorn pie, smelling of sugar and vanilla. It kind of looks like a pumpkin pie. And you see that he says, let's have a pitcher of milk from old Patience to accompany this fine acorn pie, Alicia. And he turns to you, he's like, she's my prize milk cow. Better than wine is the milk from her dugs.
So, sorry, can I get an idea a little bit more of the room, and there's what's the door situation? What's this?
It's very open. So remember, this is a room that almost feels like a hub. So there are 3 main entrances to this room. You guys came in through one and then went out the other when you were going to your rooms. There is a root system that comes down and creates a throne. And it's like a chair.
Oh, it's the same room. Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
And there's an opening to the sky that is through the big hole of this tree. And there's also some water that drips down into a pool and kind of runs down a rocky wall in the back.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. It's you're actually eating in the throne room. It seems like it's the Great Hall as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then there's these standing candelabras. And the way that you guys came in, you didn't pass the kitchens. The kitchens are down the way you haven't come from. So that's where food is being wheeled in. And that's where the servants are going out and coming back in.
okay.
Does that
And
make sense?
it's the 2 main servants.
Yeah, the 2 main servants.
Okay.
Alicia, who met you at the door and brought you here,
Mhm.
and then a young fellow. I can tell you a little bit more about him. He has an edgy haircut, so he's got shaved sides of his head with a longer dark hair on top. He's got brown eyes and pale skin, and he has the look of one underslept. Like he's very quiet and withdrawn. You haven't heard him say anything, where Alicia is lots of like, yes, my lord, no, my lord, that kind of stuff as she's serving.
Okay. So I would like to. So if they're gonna go and get like this,
Yeah, so they
this
bring
udder
in
juice?
they bring in the pie, and then he says,
Yeah.
let's have some milk from old patients. She's like, at once, my lord. She goes, at once, my lord Briar Thornhaven, and then she walks out.
Okay, so when she goes to get it, I'm gonna try casually to get their attention.
Okay.
Do
Roll your sense motives, guys.
you want me to roll like a diplomacy
Yeah.
or?
That'd be great.
I got a natural 1, so a 7.
15.
Oh, that's so tracks for your character. It's amazing.
I got a
So-
27.
What'd you get?
15.
15.
Chad, what was the green man's name again?
So it's now Lord
Lord
Thornhaven, Galen Thornhaven.
Galen Thornhaven.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you, Zach, don't notice that LS is trying to. So Flavius doesn't notice that LS is trying to get your attention, but you notice.
Okay.
Mac notices.
All right, so I'm gonna just kind of be like try and like be like follow my lead on this one. Let's like just be like grab my like knife and be like I don't know. So when she comes back,
So she comes back in the room and she brings a pitcher. She has a pitcher with her. She comes back over and starts to pour for the Lord, and you see that it's golden colored, like wine. And he's like, no, I said milk. So milk is the only libation fit for this pie. And he's like, got a mouthful of pie, you know. And she's like, I'm truly sorry, my lord. Patience was stolen. He's like, what? And a bunch of pie comes out of her mouth. She goes, I'm sorry, my lord. She won't meet his gaze. She's looking down. My patience? My patience is gone? And she's like, yes, my lord. And you see he's holding his fork, and he just bends it. And then he's like, indeed,
Foxtail.
my patience is gone. And he says, excuse me. And starts to
my lord,
stand up.
before we go, perhaps I could offer a toast for this.
You must forgive me. I'm not in the humor for toasting.
You might be interested in this toast, and maybe it will help lighten
You
your
see
mood.
his hands are his big knuckly
His
hands. are
cow
just-
was stolen,
And
LS.
perhaps this will help. Sorry, I forgot. Perhaps this will help. I think we could offer a prayer and a toast that might be able to help in this situation.
You
Please,
see
please.
a vein on his forehead come out, like he's just angry, and he's like, I don't mean to be impolite. I will hear your prayer and toast.
Thank you. So
He sort of sits back down, but you can see he's uncomfortable and angry.
So I kind of motion for her to pour, and like I'm gonna stand
so
up.
she pours this. You see, it's just a different kind of wine. It's
Yeah.
like golden or whatever. It's an ale or something.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna take a cup and stand up and be like, in this time of great tribulation, when perhaps people might be leaking information to your foxtail adversary, it's important to remember your friends and the holy they them that protect us and guide us. And I'm gonna kind of like walk around the room a little bit to get like not behind the two servants, but then like once the setup is a little bit like they're not really close to the edges, like the doors or something, like where we could intercept,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going to just say, and perhaps maybe it's your new servants that are causing some of these problems. I happen to notice that some of the hand signals that they're using are trying to poison y'all. So why don't we start there? And then I'm going to just dump the wine out onto the ground.
Okay, you see that he's like, what? And is look like, what do you mean? And you see that Elisha and the young fellow that are with them, you see she drops the flagon and it just like shatters on the floor. She's like, seems super startled.
Hey guards, could y'all please do something about these two?
Just a sec. Let's roll.
Initiative?
Yeah, let's roll initiative.
That was a lot harder to do with the fly than I thought it was gonna be.
No, you call those great orders. Sometimes you need to look at yourself in the mirror there, buddy. 1 for 3. Initiative, chat.
Yes. Let's see. What'd you get?
I got 14.
Okay. Mac, what about you?
13.
Okay. LS?
25.
Nice.
I am Fuji's and Vanians.
Okay, so you see that. So you actually have the initiative. You're the fastest. So is there anything you want to do? It's still in this moment of like, what? Like the Lord is halfway getting up to his feet. Elisha dropped the pitcher, but she hasn't made a move. And you see the other young fellow's holding a pitcher as well, like a serving pitcher, and he's just kind of like standing there. You know?
So I would try to like move to like intercept if they were gonna like leave.
Sure.
So make movement towards that or
just
something
to like
that.
be in the way or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I don't expect them to like respond right away,
Sure.
unless they're guilty.
Sure.
So-
No, I hear you. You step in an in-between area.
And then I'll just say, "Y'all mind helping me with this?" And I kind of.
You see that the Lord stands up, and at this moment, like he gets the next initiative. You see, he's like, "I'm a bit confused. Are you saying that our servants have nefarious intentions?"
I'm saying it's fairly likely. Oh, I don't know if I can.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying it's fairly likely. They just seem to be hiding something, talking about putting something in your drink, but there's guards around. I didn't catch it all because I was kind of enthralled with your court here.
Wait, you heard them say these things? You see, he looks to Bina, and the head of house, and you see that she's like kind of baffled, and she stands up and she's like, do you have intentions to poison our Lord? As she stands up, her chair falls back, and you see that Bina kind of walks over with her napkin still tucked in the front of her very modest dress, and she's staring up at Elisha like, I knew there was something bad about you. I've had my eye on you. That sort of energy. And Alicia's kind of like backpedaling, almost speechless, like at a loss for words.
So I don't know who's.
Okay. So coming back, it's Zach.
Okay, as my move action,
You notice as well that, by the way, Cedric Oakengreaves, the head of guards, you see he's just still eating his pie. Like he's not even. He's just like really focused in on the pie. Okay.
as my move action, I'm going to detect evil on Elisha.
Okay.
So I can use that as
Sure,
a
I'll
thing.
take it.
So the first round is the presence or absence of evil.
Yeah.
It's in a 60-foot cone, so whoever's in that
Sure.
cone around her,
Mhm.
I'll be able to see if she's evil.
Good idea.
Does that include LS?
I'm not evil, y'all. How could I be evil if I'm part of God's army?
Awesome. And then your turn, Mac.
I grab a flagon off the table and I throw it at the boy servant.
Oh, okay, great. Go ahead, roll an attack.
25?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You hit him pretty
Being
square.
underground gives you
You hit him
powers.
square with a flagon in the neck. roll a do like a 1d4 plus your strength modifier.
I mean, they might be guilty.
6. Okay, sweet. Okay, you see it hits him and he's like, he throws the flagon that he was holding, and he's like grabbing his throat. And at this moment, you threw the flagon across the table, and a bunch of wine that was in it goes flying. You see some of it gets on Cedric, who's sitting across from you, and he's like, huh? Like, looks up.
Now he wakes up.
And then you see that Alicia turns and just starts to run. Okay, is what she's starting to do. Now, you're closest to her because you were getting in the way. Okay, so you see that she is trying to go the opposite direction because there's 3 ways out of here, so she's trying to run the other way away from you. Okay. Okay, so let's go to, at this point, you also can see that the guards have been the guards that are at the corners of the room, these acorn guard, at this point had it mobilized until she starts to run. And then you can see that the Lord is like, seize her, and then they start to mobilize. Okay. So back to you. And now it's like the first full round. It's kind of the surprise round over. Okay.
Only the guilty ones run. How far away?
She was only able to move 30 feet.
Okay.
Because it was just a surprise round moment.
Yeah.
So she's still in the room. The room's pretty big. She's still in the room. And even if she makes it to the hallway, she'll be in line of sight for at least a couple hundred feet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's a big.
So if I can make it to her and hit her with color spray without hitting a guard, which is color spray is a 15-foot.
Yeah, there's no guard on that side of her.
Okay.
She's running for the door that
perfect.
doesn't have a guard next to it, which is actually towards your guys' quarters. Like all the guest rooms and things are this way.
Okay. So I'm going to use my movement 30 feet to get closer to her, and then just with color spray.
Great.
Spray her with my color.
Color spray.
As it were. Oh, that's not where my spell is. Oh, no. Nine. So it's a will and then spell resistance if she has SR.
Cool. We'll say the 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Natural 1.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So depending on her hit dice, I'll just read, or do you have it up? Or I can
read it up
okay.
right now, but you can read it. Go ahead.
So if it's 2 hit dice or less, they're unconscious, blinded, and stunned for 2d4 rounds.
Great.
If it's 3 or 4 HD, they're blinded and stunned for 1d4 rounds, then stunned for 1 round. And if it's 5 or more hit dice, the creature is stunned for 1 round.
Okay, so roll 2d4.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
I was really looking forward to that patience book. I did, man. Every session. So
But his
far.
patience is gone.
5. Sorry, I rolled d8s in half, so
Okay.
took an extra step of mental math. So 5 total.
5.
Do you need some D4s?
No, I just didn't have them open, and I don't want to delay the game.
Okay, that's-
Delay the game.
So you said you rolled 5.
Yes, 5 total.
Okay, so you see that she
Please
was
avoid
in
us.
full sprint, and she just goes unconscious. So it's like her body and all that momentum just pummels her. She hits the ground and kind of rolls and slides against the wall, and it's just limp like ragdoll. Okay. As she does so, I'm trying to think. Roll a percentage, Brandon. Yeah.
Okay. 62%.
Okay. Never mind. Nothing additionally happens. Homeboy, who you threw the pitcher at the throat, is just coughing and wheezing, and he takes a knee. He's just sitting there like just coughing. Like he's not running away, but you see that the acorn guard comes behind him and bear hugs him.
Great.
Like grabs him in this, his half plate and just lifts him off the ground. And you see his face is just purple and red, like he's crying, because he just got owned. And you can see that the Lord is like, Lord Thornhaven's like, I never, and throws down his napkin, right, that he had on his lap. And he stands up, pushes his chair back, and he's like, take them to the root cellars. Throw them in, we're going to question them. And the other guard goes and grabs the unconscious Alicia off the ground and starts to drag her, okay, like by her arms.
I sit back and eat some pie.
I just wanted to check one thing
So
before.
Tell me more. What did you hear?
Yeah. Well, I just want to check real quick just to see, because I want to search
Oh, okay.
Alicia.
Yeah,
Just
go
so
ahead.
I'm looking for, and the kid for like a poison vial or
Oh,
something
sure.
that like
Yeah.
that would be, you know what I mean?
That's great.
Search
Go
them
ahead.
before we hide them away.
Go ahead and roll a search check. Are you going to search the other while he's doing it, or
So,
are you letting him search?
Quick
both?
question. So when they talked about the halfling who was small, he was the chancellor.
Mhm.
What would he be covering?
What do you mean? Like, what would his job be?
Mhm.
Administration. Of
So he, in my mind, would he be the one that should be setting the tithing, but
Oh,
hasn't been?
sure.
Okay, when it's
Yeah.
my turn, let me know.
Yeah, so he's over like the administration and affairs of the kingdom. So like laws, legislation, anything related to taxation, all that. Like
Is Tibbetts at the table as well, or is he back in our room?
So Virgil Tibbetts, I'm sorry. So I thought I said this at the end of last session, but he said I'm
He
going to
didn't
check
join
on the
us.
horses, and
Right,
so
right.
he left to go
Right.
check on your things, and he hasn't shown up yet.
Perfect.
I eat LS's pie as well.
Okay, you reach over,
Oh.
you go over and grab it. Great.
I'm done. I was done with acorns
I-
after the meeting.
Yeah, there is
why
so much
many
acorns.
freaking
So much.
It's a bit nutty for me. I
It's
got
a
a
bit
19. It's a bit nutty. I got a
You're
19.
19. Okay. All right. Let's rock. Let's rock today. Okay. So you find a dagger in a sheath on a garter belt that she has. You also can find in her bodice that she has a small folded up piece of paper that's kind of like folded like a note that you would pass in class.
Okay, I'm gonna read it or open it.
Okay, you open
Well,
it.
I'll detect magic. Bing bong bing, and then
Yeah, you don't.
Okay, good.
Detect magic. It's not. The words are what
is
makes
that?
it magical. Let me send you this.
The feelings you feel from reading it is what's magic.
what's on the paper? That's what's magic.
It's the
Okay.
emotions that penned those words.
Here it is. Love is magic.
That sounds right.
So you guys see that LS pulls a dagger out,
Yeah, it's
and then has this. He pulls out this letter and starts to unfold it as the guards now drag her and the young fellow to the dungeons. Okay.
Amazing.
Chad, so the threefold quest is the name
It's one of the names of the church.
of the church, but
Yeah.
the holy they them is the
The
god,
holy they is the god that
the
you worship.
god representation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
When
So it's also like other people who are not members of your church call it questionism. It's like one of the things that they refer to, or questism,
Mhm.
because it's so focused on the threefold quest
Yep.
and the great question, which is why do we exist.
All right, I'm gonna move over towards what was the chancellor's name?
Chancellor Greg Dumit.
I posted in chat.
You see that he says, "What have you found?" The Lord comes over. It's like a dagger. He's like, "Bina, your servants have blades?" She's like, "I didn't know, my lord. I didn't. I would never stand for this in our house." That sort of thing.
I
You
passed.
see
it.
that she spits at Alicia as she's being dragged by. Doesn't like hit her, but
Yeah.
spits at her, is mad.
I
All that dwarven fury.
I'm gonna say, since they were here and obviously attending to you, maybe it's a little more ubiquitous than you'd think. Why don't we keep this under wraps? No one else knows. No one else needs to know. At least until tomorrow, right?
I
Subterfuge.
see the trick of it. Because there might be others, is what you're saying.
Precisely.
Conspiracy.
Smart man.
Conspiracy in my keep.
And you know what?
Bina?
The nice thing is that you can trust us because we're not part of this.
You see that he turns to the guards and he says, load them under the cart and take them by secret ways to the root cellar. I shall not have the keep whispering of this. We need to keep it quiet while we investigate.
For my diplomacy,
Tonight, it ends.
I got a 28.
Damn.
I mean, he already did what I wanted, but
Yeah.
and then I hand that note that I sent in chat. So, and then you guys can
He
read
wants
it
to
if you
see
want.
it. The Lord is
okay.
like, what do you have?
I think this is a love note.
Why don't you go ahead and read it? You have
A
such a
love
lovely
note?
voice.
She has some lover among your staff, Bina? Disgusting. You see that he
All right, let
He
me
grabs
read
the
this.
letter, or he wants to grab it. You gonna read it?
Please. The only thing more tragic than life of comfort is a life of comfort bereft of love. Oh, that's sweet. You need
Is the letter it's sweet or
No, that was me. Sorry.
Go on, sorry.
You needn't remain a caged bird, kept as a trophy to prop up some lesser lord. You were meant to fly. If you wish to be freed from your cage, close your curtain in the window so that the fabric it don't hang out outside the seal, and you will be whisked away to my arms. True love is calling. Fly to me. Perhaps that's Marcus. It's so sweet.
You see that he, like, the Lord is having the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
Okay, so he takes the letter from you after you've read it and looks at it, and you see he's just starting to huff. Like, he's just like...
Oh, patience, Lord. Oh, sorry, not the right word. If this truly is Marcus...
Yeah, that's good, patience. He's like, go ahead.
And this is his love, now you've got her.
You also know what he's going to be doing. He's coming to see if her curtains are going to be wide or
A
tight.
trap.
I won't have him looking at her curtains.
My lord,
Also, what if this note wasn't meant for Elisha so much as your love?
in fact,
I know to whom this note was written, and it burns me apart.
Let's
Tonight
set
we
a
catch
trap.
a fox.
My lord, perhaps we can intervene on your behalf of this situation.
You needn't trouble yourself with this beyond what you've already done. I am forever in gratitude to you. But we can do this. And you see that Cedric is like wiping his face with the napkin, and he stands up and he's like, "We can catch a fox tonight."
I say, Cedric, what would be the easiest? I suggest we find the routes to where they could view the curtains. If this Mr. Foxtail, is as conniving and mischievous as possible, he's probably aware of the goings on of the guards. So we're probably going to be the best bet to intercept him without having his knowledge. So if you can find out where you think he'd be coming to retrieve her.
Well, you see the Lord is like, we know where he's going to be because it's where she is.
Well, we can just hide in a room and he comes up to get her and we have him.
Indeed.
You can dress up in a dress of hers.
How tall is she?
Chad, I start making my way over towards Greg.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You
what's,
see that
what's
he's-
he doing?
Remember, he seems to be the oldest,
Mhm.
and so he's kind of like sitting there. You notice there's a lot of food on his chin and on his shirt, and he's just kind of sitting there looking around. Like, you wonder if he has trouble hearing
Yep.
and seeing potentially.
Okay, I'm going to come up behind him
Mhm.
and I'm just going to very gently put my hands on his shoulders.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to like whisper into his ear and say, what was his last name again?
Doom it.
I said, Chancellor Doomit, I am going to have my servant Tibbets.
What?
I am going to have my servant Tibbets speak with you regarding the lack of tithe to the holy they, them in Serenia. I understand at times it can be difficult to remember to do these things, but he has your best interest and the best interest of Thornwood in heart to clear up any misgivings or anything that has stopped you or presented any hesitation to provide what is rightly bequeathed to the Lord.
Who's Mr. Tibbets?
He'll come and help you and
Okay.
take care of the things that are most needful.
Can we call, when he has to like interrogate somebody, we call him Tidbits? It's like a little aside where it's like Mr. Rogers putting on different shoes.
Okay.
I give him a pat on the shoulder. We'll help you. We'll take care of things for you.
Sure. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
So I think, back to the matter at hand, I think there's two things that we need to consider. Number one, how is this note going to be passed to her in the first place if it's not from the hand of a trusted servant, right? Because if, for example, you, my lord, were to take this note to your betrothed, that wouldn't go over well. So we need to make sure or find out how it's going to get passed. If it's passed like with her food.
Well, we just
Not pass.
we just
Oh.
go in her like she doesn't need to know.
Oh Lord, that
We
is
put the
such a
curtains
good
the way
idea.
it is. Mr. Fox Butthole shows up, and we
You
wreck
see
his
at
shit.
this time while you guys are talking among yourselves, you see that the Lord has instructed Bina to like make sure that the table is cleaned and everything is put away, but nothing is like none of it gets out. You know what's happened here, or that that it's kept under wraps. What's actually happening? You know
Right.
that they're. You know he's like make up an excuse. Alicia's had a faint. And dropped her flagon. Do something. You know what I mean? Something along these lines. And you see that Bina kind of mobilizes and starts to go get servers and servants to help and things. Okay? You notice that Cedric is now, he left with the soldiers who are taking the two servants that are prisoner. He walked out with them. So now it's you with the Lord. And at this point, you see that Chancellor Doomit is like getting up and starting to waddle out. Okay? But you see that the Lord is now coming back over to you and he's like, I can't thank you enough. I'm eager to end this farce.
When you're living right, this is what happens. Also, you're right. We can just cut out the middleman. That's a great idea.
I say I'm going to send my servant Tibbets to talk with your chancellor. I think some of this could resolve from the lack of proper worship and following the things that need to happen. Is that okay?
Oh, certainly. He goes, anything that we lack can be settled with Chancellor Doomit.
All right. We'll set that up. But I think most pressing matters is to find these bandits and kill them.
Well,
Holy shit.
For I sensed evil in both of their hearts, and that shall not stand in my eyes.
Yeah. That insight to know the evil of their hearts, is that a gift? How is it done?
It is done by following the path. My training has brought me close to the holy they them, and they've given me insight.
Indeed.
God's army, y'all.
Holy they them.
Ruling would be a simpler thing indeed with this skill.
But it is important to remember that even though I know they are black, tarnished, and ready to face their end, sometimes people choose to go back down the path of good. I want to allow them that option. But if not, as I said,
'Tis fitting.
justice shall be seen to them. But let's discuss how we can find and trap Marcus tonight.
Yes.
My assumption is that, do we need to find out if this note was being given tonight? I assume if she knew this party was going and she happened to be sick, maybe there is a certain level of expectation for her to meet with Marcus tonight.
That makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense for us to get her out of those rooms. Maybe she'd be more comfortable in like a different set of rooms tonight. One with like a solid lock, maybe?
Yes, she must be moved. But we must do it surreptitiously, so as not to alert the keep that anything is different. Yes?
A wise choice.
You could take her out on a date.
It's more difficult than it sounds these days.
Or, listen, you write a false note from M that takes her elsewhere. Then you learn a little bit more about your love. And she does all the surreptitiousness on her own.
Yes! Yes, Master Dwarf! This is how we shall do it. Follow me to my studies.
Okay.
And you see that he starts to walk out a different room.
I tell a guard to go find Tibbets. He's seeking to our carriage. And just let him know that I want to talk to him.
Indeed.
I whisper to Flavius. I'm like,
Oh, we the bad guys.
It's one of those instances where I think if I had to use a bow that hasn't been shot in 35 years, or a bow that was shot last week, I would choose the one that was shot last week.
I'm so confused.
This is an assisted living home. We're full of old, decrepit people whose talents and possibilities have gone. There's no life left in here. There's no challenge. There's no thrust towards adventure or proving yourself to completing the holy quest. These people are static. They're mud. We're helping them.
So, I agree. Is the Lord with us right now, or are we on our own? Oh, Well, this is awkward.
I think Thorn would appreciate some just, true words. I speak nothing of lies, do I?
You've been terribly insightful. I think that there is a good bit of stagnation here, and good servants who have just grown old. I agree.
I do not think they have any ill will towards you. But again, you fire a bow and its bowstring breaks on you because it hasn't been fired in 10 years is not necessarily the bow's problem.
Indeed.
Sorry, a little
Okay,
more
so
exposed.
behind the throne, he takes you to this this side door that leads out of this room, but it's not the same as these other hallways, which are just sort of open and off of the room. It's actually like a side door where there are two guards posted, and they open the door as you guys approach. And you can see it looks to be a heavy iron banded door that could be fortified from the inside if it needed to be. You know, almost like this is another retreat within the Thorn Fort, you know?
Mhm.
And he leads you in, and as soon as you come in to this area, there are steps that start to go up that are stone, but they have padded carpet on them. So you start to like ascend into more of like a luxurious space, and you can smell an incense in the air that is kind of soothing, you know, this like soothing scent, and you realize you're ascending a large tree, you know, like coming inside.
I would like, before we get there, I'd like to whisper to these two and be like, so I'd like to, I'll whisper it, right? But just, I'd like to talk to this fox man before and maybe without the Lord here.
Before you kill him.
Well, I don't know. But just like,
And you're
to get
saying this because you don't want the Lord to hear
Yeah,
you say this.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
just to get a vibe on like what's going on, get that, you know, objective, like opposite, like the opposition here. Let's see what's going on. Maybe there's some weird stuff we don't know.
Uncovering mysteries.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're on a quest. We're uncovering mysteries.
I say there was evil from both of those servants we were able to secure.
Yeah.
I imagine if they follow Foxtail, there's similar ideas, but for us to go whole slaughter on them without knowing their motivations feels short-sighted into answering the questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes things are connected. Maybe this foxglove here will help us understand better what's going on with the Silent Brothers. You know, there's a lot of things we just really haven't understood yet here. I'd just like to get a better idea before we go ahead and cut his head off or something like that. Personally.
Need be.
So you guys walk up into his. It's like a salon, like a sitting room. You know, when you come in, you notice that the walls have bookshelves that were carved out of the living wood, and so they're just like really in like they're built-ins in the most organic way. They're like grow-ins, you know, and they've got books stacked on them at odd angles because they've like followed the grain of the wood and everything. It's just really cool looking. And you notice in here, there's no torches, like living fire. It's all like fairy fire. Like it's, you know, some really beautiful magical light that casts an interesting warmth in this area, right? Now you come in and you also can see that on one of the walls in a section that is more bare, there is a bounty poster that has this rakish looking drawing of a gentleman who's wearing a mask, you know, and has like a hat that almost has like fruit and feathers and things coming off it. And it's pinned up on the board and has 2,000 pieces, and it has just all these notches in it from a dagger, and there's a dagger sticking in the wall like he's been throwing a knife at this, you know, this bounty poster for Marcus Foxtail. And then you see that he has a personal desk that is growing up out of the ground, you know, this wood that's been polished, and it's very round. It's scattered with papers, but you see that there's a map of Thornhaven, the woods itself. You can see that there are like scribbles and drawings and question marks on different areas, almost like he's trying to calibrate where Foxtail could be hiding. And there's marks where all of like the ambushes and the, you know, robberies have taken place.
Is there any signal for how long he's been at this? Is there any dates, anything like
Nothing
that?
you're seeing here, but you can ask the Lord.
Yeah, just straight up. How long have you been chasing this man?
It's been the better part of 18 months.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Yes, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. I could Can I be candid?
It's just us.
I can barely put food on the table to entertain guests.
We ate a lot of acorns.
It's what we have left.
A lot of
And now that patience, damn it, is gone. No milk either. I feel my entire kingdom slipping through my fingers. And there's chairs here, and he calls you to sit. He grabs out paper and pen, and he's like, "Oh, we must counterfeit a letter here. We must write something that will prove Ilaria's heart."
So, here's a thought. We don't know exactly how these messages are being delivered. If we do it wrong, it might be to our detriment. So we could talk to the girl. I have ways to make letters look like other people's letters. That's no problem. But
if we asked Bina if she knew how, I didn't mean to go.
No, we have to remember we don't have time. It looks like this letter was to be delivered tonight, perhaps. Feels like we need to move quickly. I don't know that we'll have time to wake Alicia and question her at length, especially if she proves to be difficult in the questioning.
That's fine.
Did Alicia deliver
can do
food to her?
She's
nightly?
a servant. She has access. She could even be doing cleaning there, anything.
So let's do this then. I'll write a letter. I have great penmanship. And then why don't you follow your love at a distance, hide, and leave
I
the
have
catching.
to believe that she won't go. Perhaps it's all just a sick joke.
I think it would be best if you see that for your own eyes.
I have to know, yes.
And you can trust us to ensure that we catch this Marcus Foxtail.
I do. I do trust.
Thank you. So we'll be in the room. We'll take care of it. And you follow your love. And she can prove her devotion to you. That seem fair to everybody here?
So are you going to write a separate letter to give her instructions to go do something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then...
But that still needs to answer the question, how do we deliver
He goes over to a crystal, decanter and takes the top off of it and pours, short fingers of something strong for all of you to drink.
Not when I'm working, thank you.
You see it takes your cup and hands it to you so you can double fist it.
I drink it judiciously.
You think it tastes too much like acorn. You're just like,
this is nut milk.
just not
So yeah, we can just slide it under the door, and then if she is if it's sets her off, we'll know.
The thing is too, it's pretty low key. She's probably been doing this pretty easily. I'm not too worried about it being super secret. Maybe you know what I mean. And if it's not right, then we just give her time.
Just kidding. But yeah, we just if it sets her off, then we know to just take her out of the room, right? As long as it doesn't trigger her jumping out the window or something like that. Some Romeo and Juliet bullshit.
Kill yourself.
So what are you gonna have her say?
I think
she mustn't be harmed.
Where was old Patience usually kept?
Well, she's in the hay meadows.
Well, she's gone now, but that's where she was kept.
Yeah.
Why don't we have her meet
Hay Meadows?
at the hay meadows? Would that make sense?
It could, and Ilaria does have free movement of the keep.
Would the Hay Meadows be a somewhat secluded aspect of the keep?
Parts of it, yeah.
So if they will need it,
It's also close to Berrythorn, which is the little hamlet here.
So that would be a relatively good position to meet up if you wanted to go away.
Yeah. Sure, certainly, it's near the stables as well. So if they were looking for horses,
I think that's perfect. Good idea.
So if you want to go there, we'll write the note.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in a position where we can see her leave her room.
Well, how will you get the note to her? See, I almost feel I'm most poised to be able to have access to her door without suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
I could just leave it without making my presence known to her.
Do that.
And then I can depart without any question.
Yeah.
As long as there's only one way for her to go, so we know when she leaves.
She only comes in and out through the one way, unless she was to leap out her window.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should have a guard on the outside looking for that. Send a guard there. We'll write this note, deliver it. We'll go from there.
Well, just in the note. Just
On my
say
way, I
if
can
you
have
wanna
a
go
guard
visit
outside.
patient,
I worry though if we leave. Do we intend to leave the signal within her rooms after she's left, if she leaves, so that we can call in
Yeah,
the
so
fox to
all
the
I'm
trap.
going to do is I'm going to copy the first part of the letter, but instead of saying flip out the curtain, just say go meet old patients. Right.
Mm.
And then what we're going to do after we see you leave, after she leaves her rooms, then we will go into her room. I will lay in the bed, dressed like her, because it's important for the heist.
The ruse.
For the ruse,
Yes.
thank you. And then we'll flip out the curtain. And then the three of us will be waiting in the room, and you will follow your love, your betrothed.
It sounds good. Yes, this is a good plan. And I hope that it unravels by the fact that she won't take the bait. If she stays in the room, then I know her heart is true to me.
It's the perfect plan. It was a good plan. Thanks for coming up with it.
We came up with the majority of it, though.
I think this was all at the same time.
I am grateful for your guidance here. I'm realizing that my counselors have grown old. I wonder if there is need for a shake-up. I know you're working for the church, but perhaps you can stay and help me.
Yeah, we got other stuff to do.
Help me right my kingdom.
Yeah, we got other stuff to do right now, but let's take care of
I would
this. We'll
see
talk
the
about it
days.
later.
I would see the day's return of wealth and abundance.
This will be a good step forward for you to get on your feet, to continue paying your tithe to the church as we solve our murder.
Again, I wonder on that. I think that perhaps the chancellor's been keeping our financial situation more.
I'm going to send my
secret
man.
to me.
I'm going
But
to
I
say
assume we've lacked because
for
we've
the
been
amount
hit
of
so hard by the
damn
bandits.
acorns that I've been eating, I imagine it's probably one of those things.
He's gonna pay you.
Which
If
is
you don't
pretty-
mind, I'm going to send my man Tibbets to speak with him.
Mhm.
I'll use a gentle hand. He'll find out the
course.
information he needs. We'll relay it back. We have to see to this
course.
murder. But I grabbed him by the shoulder and I said, but the Holy Day then knows of your plight and understands that you want to right this position for you
Mm,
and for your kingdom.
mm,
And that's why we're here.
indeed. Thank you.
But again, murder first.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna set this for like 30 minutes. Let's set this timer for 30 minutes. And then I would like you to roll my forgery.
Great.
Sorry, my do you want it disguised? Is it
Sleight of hand. I don't know.
Okay. I want you to tell me.
there's not a forgery, I don't think anymore.
We'll have you roll.
Sleight of hand to copy it?
Sleight of hand or disguise.
Yeah, I would have you roll.
I can consult the book.
Book.
Page
Yeah, you
101.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see what the. Yeah, consult the book.
We could use the actual
And then, do you want
rules.
me to roll the black and gold die, or do you want me to roll the clear green die?
Clear green.
Forgery requires writing materials appropriate to the document being forged. To forge a document on which the handwriting is not specific to a person, you need only have seen a similar document before to gain +8 bonus to your check.
Oh, sweet.
But he has seen it. He has it in front of him.
Well, I think that's more speaking about how, if the person has seen,
Oh, gotcha.
right, like the
Yeah.
recipient. Of
If
the
they're
document,
familiar.
if they're familiar with the handwriting.
Then you
or not.
don't get
Then
that.
you
But
don't
is
get
it
that.
is it forgery? Is wonder what skill?
Let's go, John.
I don't know. Linguistics.
Oh, good thing I put ranks in linguistics.
Oh, yeah, dog.
He's trained only, so good job.
Hell yeah. I erased it. Damn it.
Okay,
Never mind.
You can write. You can still write the note. It just maybe won't be a forgery.
Oh, you can do it untrained. No, you can't. You cannot. Yeah, that's
So
fine.
you just write the note without a. So tell me what the note is going to say. Maybe write it out or say it out.
So it's gonna copy.
The only thing more tragic than a life of comfort is a life bereft of love.
Mhm. So say the same thing,
Yep, and then
except for the signal. Okay.
How about you just take the note and then you cross out and then write? Oh, you don't have to like this.
If you wish to be freed from your cage,
Mhm.
meet me in the
hay meadows?
Hay meadows.
Meet me
under the
near
teat
patience.
under the teat of old patience.
Come suck the teatable tea patient.
You will be whisked away to my arms. True love is calling. Fly to me.
Ooh, wait, whisk away to your arms. I don't think he's coming then.
You're right, damn it.
Someone's taking her there then.
Mhm.
So it's not.
We
So
have
we'll-
not caught any of these bandits yet.
So
But if we can catch one,
they'll know where to
There
meet.
will nowhere to meet. Okay, sorry. I got that's
No, yeah,
clear.
but
and if
good
we
catch.
ask them questions in a firm manner, perhaps we'll get somewhere, eh?
I think your definition of firm and my definition of firm might be a little bit different there, Lord.
Perhaps.
Either way.
Perhaps I can be fearsome when I'm angry.
I know you can. That fork got the brunt of your rage.
It's not the only cutlery to suffer my wrath, nor shall it be the last, I'm afraid. All right, on with it. Let's get this going.
Okay.
Right,
So you write the letter. Great. He takes it. I'm going to, on my way, let me just make sure that I've got this. On my way, I'm going to have a guard go to the outside quietly to just watch the exterior windows and things to make sure that she doesn't escape by some way that we know not.
Right.
Then I shall go.
But we need to send that guard away because whoever's going to come and get her, we don't want to have that guard scaring them off.
We'll send that guard away after if she leaves through the way that
You can tell the guard just to leave when the curtain comes out the window.
Because that will be us who
All right.
set the curtain.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, I will send that, and then I will go and slip the note under her door, not making myself known to her, and then I will
Go to the
disguise
hayfields.
myself at the hayfields.
Yes.
The hay meadows. Indeed.
And then we'll have to
And then
capture whoever comes.
And then someone will need to signal you if she leaves.
Just take a guard with you to the hayfields.
To come send for you. You can wait here, or you can wait in the throne room, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Well, if she walked past us,
Maybe you could return to your quarters, and I could send for you.
yeah, let's do that.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right. He takes another drink. He says, "For luck
Okay, Chad, I'm going to say a
And
prayer.
love.
and love.
I say that I feel so inclined.
I pray her heart is true."
Chad, I'm going to use my...
If she's not bros before hoes.
I'm going to roll my knowledge of religion and just say a quick prayer.
And I'm desirable. I'll find someone.
Highly.
Oh, you're a catch.
I find someone else.
I say
if need to.
often...
What's the fuss about this maiden anyway?
Chad, I rolled a knowledge of religion of 11 just to say a quick prayer. And
Yeah.
say, we are on thy quest, even though the great mystery is yet to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
This is one aspect that we can solve in answering the greater question.
It is.
May the holy and aid them bless us in this quest, for it is truly holy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree. There is a question that will be answered tonight for good.
Yes, Lord. Lord.
He straightens his doublet. And then
Onward
he
and upward, let's get...
runs a shaky
Get going.
hand through his hair, then holding the note, he goes and walks out.
Okay.
You see, it looks like he's maybe going to his execution.
So I want to also...
And you get the sense that he maybe knows the answer already, and it's not the answer he wants.
Never an easy thing to do. I also try to fold the note like the note.
Oh
was
yeah,
folded.
I assume
Okay.
he did. I assume.
And I love that we're praying with you,
That's
Zach.
so good. So
Praying.
good. Feeling it.
Mm.
Okay, so at this point, are you guys going to go back to your rooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you part ways. You make your way back to your quarters, and you're met by Virgil Tibbets.
Perfect. I say, Tibbets, two things. First, you need to meet with Greg. He's the chancellor.
Mhm.
This kingdom isn't a complete travesty of management. They need a lot of help. I fear their tithes.
Excuse me, my lord. Are you saying they are not a complete travesty?
They are.
Yes, indeed they are. In fact, I worry for our horses and belongings.
Yep.
I don't trust them to
Okay.
protect them.
Okay.
They couldn't protect their ass, if you ask me.
Okay.
I would like to sleep in the stables and
Okay.
keep an eye. Because this guard is the most soft, distracted, untrained guard I've ever seen. It's tragedy.
All right. Well, I have a couple things for you. First,
Indeed.
from speaking with the Lord, I feel he's not quite in the know of what's going on.
That doesn't surprise me.
So you need to go speak with Greg, super old halfling, could barely hear anything. He's the chancellor, managing. Find from him what you can. Also, start with the soft hand, because we may need to go above him and get to the Lord to get the correct ties set up.
Indeed.
Second, I want you to be thinking of anybody. What was the name of the city we're from, Serena?
Serenia.
If there's any Serenian nobles who might be interested in getting into a relationship up here in Thornwood,
Participating in government, yes?
Excellent.
Mhm.
So,
Indeed.
see if there's a way to make a connection, because I feel there is wealth that can benefit
Yeah.
the church here, and I think that the Lord, once connected, may have good dough.
I can
Two
send
things,
the
and of
today.
course, I trust your judgment from there.
Hey, I would just like to add that if they are coming up short on that money, they just ordered a bunch of constructs from the port city of
Ooh.
Mm.
So the money's
Marlow.
there, right?
So just keep that in
Interesting.
mind. Just keep it in your back pocket. I know you're good for it.
Where I know how to ask questions, get to the bottom of things.
Yeah.
And if they need to be corrected, then I shall be obliged to do so.
Talk to me before we hand down any corrections.
I can act in your name. Don't you worry.
This plate is pretty fragile, so any heavy cutlery on it might crack it.
Some plates are too old and need cracking. Yes.
Tibbets,
I see that we're aligned on this, my lord.
Don't crack anything until I can make sure to be there with a sweeper to sweep up any messes.
Indeed, I hear you loud and clear.
Tibbets, there's so much shit going on right now. I need to know you're not going to freak out this little chancellor man.
I won't. I shall have a light hand.
Look at me.
I shall have a light hand.
Slap my wrist. Tell me what light is to you.
He just grabs your hand with two hands. He does the ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
And you kind of hate it, but his hands are really hot.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
He left
Kind
him a
of
little
shake it
moist.
away. I said, we all know what we need to do.
Yes. Yes, I'm going to seek the Chancellor, and then I'm going to go guard our belongings, because the guard here has no idea what they're doing.
All right. We'll see ya.
Indeed.
Have fun.
May the knower above bless us. He goes and walks away.
Did we get a description of this girl before I'm supposed to dress up like her? I don't. We didn't, did we?
Okay.
That's all right.
So you guys go into your quarters. You know, you can see that there's been a turn down service in the sense like you weren't here, so now like the beds are ready. There's a little sweet left on every bed, but you're gonna. It's acorn. It's an acorn sweet. It's almost like acorn brittle.
Delightful.
And
I give back my
you
piece.
notice you didn't notice it before because the torches in here seemed so natural, but you notice that they are fairy fire as well. Now they've been turned to like a darker blue that's kind of left a more calm evening feel here. Okay. You're not in your rooms for very long when you see that there is a rap at the door, and you notice that a soldier is out there to give you the word that you can go.
So she left.
Maybe he should guide us to where
Yeah.
we need to go.
Yeah. Sorry. What I mean is he says,
Okay.
Follow me, my lords. You know, and he starts to take you.
So be extra gentle on your lord for the next couple bit. He's going through some stuff.
He does seem troubled of late. There's a great deal on his shoulders, preparing for the wedding and all.
But to be true, every big tree suffers a windstorm. Am I right?
Are we gonna have to suffer your metaphors for this entire campaign?
Absolutely.
Okay. You guys go walking, and you realize you're going towards the hallway. You remember how you looked down the hall and there were two guards?
Mm-hmm.
That's the direction you're going.
Okay.
And it's starting to make sense now. You're seeing that. You also, when you're looking back, you remember you ran into Elisha when you came out of the room. It looks like she was maybe trying to get down that way. And you guys interrupted her.
So her whole guild
Yeah,
was...
so she was going to go and deliver maybe this letter at that moment, and you guys kind of ran into her. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go down on the two guards part, they don't say anything. You do notice that they're kind of tending to fat and softness. They're just sort of, I don't know. They seem not like good guards. You're starting to see that in them, as Tibbetts pointed out.
Tibbet just made us all.
And you go into this area where you see that there's a slope of a gentle slope that rises into some steps, and then all of a sudden you're outside. Okay, like this slope takes you up to like a hidden parting, and when you come outside, there is a hanging of ivy that covers this opening that you come out of into this beautiful little meadow, and across it you can see this tree. That's also one of these tree quarters, these tree houses that you live in. And there's a door with beautiful, cute windows and everything. It's almost like this private,
It's a princess tower.
Yeah, it's like a little princess tower out here. And as you cross the field, you can just see this is a very again, sort of magical, peaceful place. You can hear the crickets, and everything else. And you notice that the windows to this princess tower up 50 feet, on this balcony, you can see that the windows are open and there's like some gentle breeze with the curtains and things up above. Okay. But as you approach, you see that he leads you up to the door and he says, here it is. And then you see that he excuses himself.
Sir, just a quick question.
Yes?
About how tall is this woman? Your princess?
You see that he's like, oh, I haven't really thought about it before. I think
What color is her hair?
Perfect.
her hair is the color of golden wheat.
It's not an orange mohawk then.
No. It's long and has a gentle curl to it.
And is she like thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, or is she thin?
She's the most beautiful woman in the kingdom.
I agree, but what does that mean? Actually, you know what? I can figure that out on my own. Thank you for your help. Bye.
Indeed.
Okay.
And turns and starts walking away.
Okay.
You're not going to fit in her dresses.
10-year-old bow. 10-year-old bow.
I hate this metaphor.
Never shot once. 10 years.
Okay.
It's
Do you
a
guys
cupcake. It's
enter
as good
the
as a
tower?
cupcake.
Are you going in, or what are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
yes.
Okay, so you go inside, and you can see that when you come in, you notice that there is like this main kitchen area kind of at the bottom, stuff. And you notice that there are just like trays and trays of untouched food.
She hasn't been.
You know what I mean? Like
So
just
maybe I will fit into her dresses.
You know what? I honestly don't. I don't feel like who could eat acorns every day?
I could.
Anyway, you also notice the place is kind of in a state of disarray. Like there maybe hasn't been a lot of like cleaning happening in here. It's just kind of messy and has the smell of like some souring wine or food, that's been out. It just doesn't give you that. Like it is so different on the inside than it was outside. Right?
Mm.
And when you go up the stairs towards like the personal rooms or bedroom or whatever of this place, you can see that the bed is a mess. There are gowns on the floor that have just been cast aside, stockings just sort of laying out. And you notice that there is a table there that's covered in parchments that are kind of like fluttering, and there's ink that's been spilled, and there's pens and things. And you can see that there are a bunch of wads of paper, like crunched up paper, like on the ground, like all spilled everywhere. Anyway, you get the picture.
Angsty teenage vibe.
So is it apparent? I mean, there's like one window with curtains that would. Is it?
There
obvious?
are a couple of windows here.
Okay.
So but you see that every window has curtains.
Okay, so then I would just go up and like, are we all in the windows? Like, because I don't like it would be weird if like the three of us went up and shut them.
No.
All right. No, we're just gonna shut the windows and put that.
Yeah.
out.
How did it say in the letter to close them?
Yeah. So we close them
Hang the curtain.
according
I'm gonna let
to
him
the-
do it. Just if they're watching or anything.
Yeah,
Like
put on
maybe
a dress.
Before you go close to the window, put on a dress or.
That's what I was thinking. Let my mohawk come down a little bit. Put on a dress. Slip into something more comfortable, like a night.
Does it
like
look
a
like?
shirt.
Does it look like in her clothes if she has any caps or stockings that she'd wear on over her head?
Oh, like a night.
Like a night thing?
Nothing that you see that's like that. But there are like, she has quite a robust wardrobe. So there are like traveling cloaks or riding cloaks.
Just put something like
Things
that,
like that,
over
like-
yourself to cover your head.
things like that.
Yeah, I put some on like so it looks like like excited to leave this place forever to fly my cage.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'm gonna take like I don't just get into the character.
Okay.
Like try and get like a piece of paper, shut the windows, flip my hair.
All right, when you go over to the papers, you see that there are a bunch of like half-started notes, and you see that there are notes to the Lord Galen, and there are notes to Marcus. Okay,
What a sassy
and you
little
see
bitch.
that the notes are all confused. Like you see that there are letters that are started for Lord Galen, like, I'm sorry that I've allowed Marcus to come between us. I choose you. And then there's like scribbles, and then like there's other ones that are like, Marcus, we can't do this. We mustn't. but I want to so bad. I'm going to tell Galen about us. I'm not going to go with you. But then there's ones where she's like, come get me, like take me away. I choose you. It's like, you can tell she's super divided.
If I find one that
Do you see what I mean?
if I find one that looks like really favorable for Lord Galen, I'm just gonna pocket it.
Okay. Yeah, you can like start to go through them if you want
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
do
look.
that.
You see a lot of the ones that are crumpled on the ground are like longer or like, go into more detail. But you can just see that there's clearly been there's a girl here who's very tortured about her choice. It's a love triangle.
If there's anything in her notes that give away the location of where Marcus would be, like, I want to go there with you. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to see if there's like anything that gives us like maybe she's already been with him, if she knows like if she's been to the location, like I want to return with you, like anything like that that would give us an idea of where he could be hiding, or places where they meet, or anything like that.
Along those same lines, maybe we should take some that are like longer ones for Marcus.
Yeah.
So if we don't catch him, then we can like use those notes to try and get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I collect the majority of it, Chad, and then just so we have it as a reference.
All right. Well, I'm getting pretty tired. It's time for me to turn in. How do y'all want to hide in this room?
I just want to get
There's room for Mac if you wanted to hide in like the closet. It's not deep enough that both of you could go in, but you could hide in like the closet wardrobe and shut yourself in and have a crack.
Perfect.
Something like that.
I'll do that with my scimitar.
You think for you, if there's a couple of hiding places, you could hide under the table, behind the door. If the door's open, you could hide
I'm
behind
gonna do
it.
that
You
because
could get underneath the couch.
I'm gonna go hide behind the door.
Okay.
Could we like set up like a lasso and have somebody holding on to it so if the person comes up to the bed, we could like shoo and like have a trap?
Make a little rope trap.
Oh,
Well,
rope
if they
So
trap.
at this
in through
point,
the
you guys
door.
have the curtains out the windows, right? They're shut
It
up.
is night,
It
right?
is night. Yeah, and it is night. Okay, roll a listen check.
13.
7.
17.
Nice.
Check out the ears on Brad.
Who's Brad?
It's my new character name.
Oh, I'm Brad.
Oh, I need more of that voice.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm gonna help you out. Oh, I'm Brad.
What is this person? What is the betrothed's name again? Ariel.
No.
Ooh.
Alaria.
Alaria Catkin.
I'm Alaria Catkin.
Does you have a litter box in here?
Chad is so mad.
A catkin is a plant.
Is it?
Really?
Uh-huh.
Chad, I love you.
It's a plant, but it's also a place for cats.
All of a sudden, you should be the crack fox.
Oh, you think this is Alaria's voice?
Yeah.
You're like King Arthur.
It's like a little bit like Mrs. Doubtfire with Cockney accent. Marcus, Marcus, I love you, but I also love Galen.
Okay, so you guys are talking about where you were talking about a trap, setting a trap, and you can hear a thunk outside.
Shit. Oh, I'm like,
And
we're all still
you
up.
hear something, and then you guys are kind of in this mode.
Can I go to my hiding spot?
Okay, great. Will you roll dexterity to kind of move quietly?
Am I already in my hiding spot?
I got
Yeah.
a 10.
You hit your foot on the bed as you go by, and then and then you go into the.
All right, I get out my warhammer.
I try and
get behind the
cover.
door.
I try and cover the sound as like a very feminine. I would like you to roll a bluff or a disguise. Probably.
What is
bluff.
your plus to bluff?
Plus the bluff.
Plus to bluff.
Plus
10 plus 10?
There you go. Cool.
Oh, I'm so silly.
Silly baby.
Okay.
You're really excited about this whole dress up as a girl thing.
So you can hear what sounds like. It just sounds like the sound of a sliding on a rope, like a shh, and then you can hear like somebody land on the balcony. Okay.
Oh, like they came down from the tree.
Yeah, like they're in the it's almost like they're sliding, like zip lining down into the balcony.
So
It sounds like.
I'm gonna sit on the bed with my back. My back to the windows, pretending like I'm getting a bag together
You love
to run away.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So, Chad, like
I love
the way
that.
that it's set up, is there a way for me to choose a hiding spot that'd be closer to the balcony instead of going back down towards the door? Does that make sense?
Too late now.
Yeah, it's a little too late.
Okay, I'm just
now.
gonna go wait by the door and then wait. to hear
I mean,
what's going on.
yeah, it's a little too late now, and especially because you guys were kind of caught in the moment. Like there was a sound and then a zipping, and you're like, "Oh crap!" You ran
So
across
whatever
the-
they've been waiting to look at this for a while.
Yeah. So you can hear that the balcony door opens like gently, and you can hear "Milady."
I'm gonna turn my head, but not turn my head, but just like with my cloak.
I've come to take you to your freedom. And you hear like this voice, and you hear somebody gently crossing the room towards you.
Okay, I'm gonna like.
What do I see? Is what I'm gonna try.
As you look, you can see that there is. I mean, it looks like it's an elf, an elven male. He's very like fit and lean, and you can see that he has like all these camouflage devices on him, right? You know what I mean? Like little sprigs of like leaves and things. He looks like he's a wilderness type individual. And you notice that on his, like he's wearing like a cloak, but under part of his cloak on the right, you can see the color and fullness of a foxtail. You know what I mean? Like there's like this foxtail that comes down in front of him. But you see that he is like crossing the room. He's got like dark paints and things on his face, and he's just sort of gently reaching out towards her. Okay.
So, Chad, I'm not at the balcony door. Am I at the entrance to the bottom then?
No, you're not all the way at the bottom. You're at the end. You're up in the room. The door to the room, the bedroom. You're behind that door, and there's the bed. There's the table where Brandon is, and you're close to that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So Brandon, the honeypot, is bringing this individual across the room,
Okay.
and you are back behind him. The wardrobe's on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
So
wait
door
on him.
in,
then.
wardrobe over here, table here, bed here, door to the room here. Zach's behind the door. Brandon's at the table. You're over at the wardrobe, and he's crossing into the middle of the three of you. Does that
Okay,
make
perfect.
sense?
I prefer.
rush him.
I prefer the term. honey
I'm
acorn.
sorry. I didn't even mention as well. He has 2 swords on him.
Oh,
Okay, like 2 swords on his belt, and you see that he also has a crossbow on his back. Okay. So he's kitted out, and the way he moves, you see that he looks like he knows how to fight. Like he knows his way around a weapon.
This poor kingdom.
You
Freaking
know I prefer the term honey acorn instead of honey pot.
We must make haste. We have long leagues to travel tonight.
can I bull rush him from
Yeah.
just from the wardrobe? Just
Well, for sure.
I'm gonna do it.
So roll. Let's do a. Yes, you can bull rush him. So go ahead and roll like an attack, right? To bull rush him down.
13.
Okay, let's see.
Not so bueno.
This guy's like a level 15 ranger or something like that.
Okay, let's see.
It's funny that it's an elf just hiding in the trees, moving in the trees, and they haven't yet to look up.
This is funny.
It's a funny.
Do you think that a bull rush would provoke an attack of opportunity if it's a true surprise? If it's done in the surprise, if it's done in the surprise round, because it says normally a bull rush provokes an attack of opportunity.
No.
Well, he doesn't have a weapon.
Surprise.
He doesn't have a weapon.
So
drawn.
surprise
Yeah.
rounds, you don't get attacks of opportunity. I thought.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a weapon draw, so he can probably do that.
that's right. Okay, so what did you say you got?
Should I roll a CMB?
Yes.
Okay. No, it'd be the same. 13.
13.
13? Oh, yeah, I think so.
13. Okay. Mac. Okay, so you rush out the door. Like you kind of like slam the cupboards open or the doors to the closet open, and you start charging across this room. And you see that his reaction, he turns in like a squat, see, and he's like, "Get back, Ilaria!" Like he yells like to protect her. And you see that you come at him and you kind of like glance against him and he spins and draws a weapon. Okay, so he has like a blade out, and that's where you kind of end. But you get between him and Ilaria.
Okay.
So you cross past him, but it's almost like just bumping somebody in the hall, not like a true connection. Does that make sense? Okay, let's roll initiative right here, and I probably should set it up a little bit for you, at least to be able to see it. Does that sound okay?
I think the papers are there if you want to grab a half one.
Is it in here?
In there.
So, we've got the entrance is like this, and the door is open like that, and then here are the walls. Okay.
Oh, that's a big ass room.
Then there
That's a big
is
room.
a balcony. Like this. Okay, and so here is the bed. The bed's like this kind of space right here. Over here is like wardrobe and vanity and stuff, you know. This is the table. And then here's the doorway to get in. Okay. When he opened the door, it opened out like that. Okay. So Zach, you're back here.
Yep, that's me.
There's Flavius. There's like a chair here, chair here, chair here. Okay. Oh, nice.
That's cool. Sorry, Zach. Thanks for being.
Okay, so you're here, you're there, you're at the table. Okay, and then he grab a little dice. A little dice.
Zach, do you need? Is it tight there?
Do
Do
you
you
need
need
a Zen?
space? No. Do you need slack on your cord?
No, it's as good as it's gonna get.
Well, I think there is slack here. Just because, yeah. Cool.
Okay.
It seemed like it was like.
All right, roll initiative. What did we get for initiatives
This is
here?
my cable.
I got a 13.
Well, if it's a surprise round, me, Brandon, and John would all get to act, and then we'd go to Inish.
True.
But you still roll initiative.
Right.
Okay, got it. So 13 is what you got, Zach, or 13 was you?
Me.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Well, technically it was.
it was me.
Yeah.
Ilaria.
Yeah.
What's your
I got an
dice?
8.
Eight. Okay. John,
13.
13.
Brandon goes first.
20, but I also have improved initiative as a feat. So I have a +9 to my initiative.
Okay. So John has already acted in this surprise round, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now it's you, if you want to do something.
I'm gonna stand up with a. Is there only one balcony door?
Yes. But there are windows. So, and the windows are big. They're not like small openings. So there was a window here. It's like a double window.
Okay.
Then there's a window here. And there's a window. No, there's not a window there. Sorry, it's double windows. 2 double windows.
You can put that under my guy to make him stand better.
Stand in the place where you.
Cool. So I am going to turn around and say, "Hey, I'm LS, and we just want to talk to you right now." And then I would stand up and maybe move in between him and the door.
Got it.
So
you go.
Okay, so yeah, move. Yeah, go ahead and move over. You see, he has one of his swords out, one of his long swords, and you can see he's just like, it's like he's been slapped, and like just total surprise on his face, and he's like trickery as you step over in front of that door. Okay,
Can I go really quick check?
I've got you going right after him.
Okay.
In the surprise round.
Perfect.
Okay. So you step over by the door, and you can see that he doesn't move to attack, but he points his sword out at you, and he's like, "Let me pass. We needn't shed blood." All right, Zach, what are you doing?
So as my move action, I'm gonna slam this door closed, trapped, and then I go 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and I get right behind him, and I just take out my warhammer, and I just get right behind him and I'm
You just
waiting.
get ready.
Mhm.
So tough, dude. Just that would be scary.
And I'm most likely just wanting to make sure if Brandon closes the door, if LS has closed the door, I close the door out, I'm moving towards the window.
Yeah.
So if he tries to make a move for it, he has to either decide like who he wants to try to face.
Right between all three of us.
Yeah. You see that his body, like he has this. There's like this wildness about him. You know, like this sureness and wildness and poise of a seasoned fighter. And also, you can. It's an interesting contrast to the keep that you've been in, the people you've been around. All of a sudden, be in the presence of this sort of like wild individual. You sense that he's poised, he's ready to fight, but he's not taking in. It's like a standoff, you know, like he's not taking an action. He's like pointing at you, telling you to let him through. But you know he's aware of Zach as he approaches. Like you can see it, you know. Okay. Now it's back to the top of the Inish, which I actually have as. Do you have better dex than Brandon? Brandon does.
Yes.
Brandon does. Okay, Brandon, you're
that's why.
so LS. You would go first.
So we'd like to talk first, and first I'd just like to say that your master's mistress is safe. There's no problems there, and we'd like to keep it that way. But let's have a conversation.
So you're servants of Thornhaven, then?
The Lord.
No, we're actually servants of the Holy Church. So,
I don't recognize you. You've come up from the
of
south.
course you don't. We don't hang out in hamlets very
Why
often.
do you interfere in the business of this kingdom?
What's
in it for the church?
Why do you thief? And I kind of like spit down on the side, hiding to the trees.
You know not of what you speak.
Well, and that's exactly why we're talking to y'all here today. We're here to learn. We're here to gain an understanding of why the Lord of this area hasn't been paying his taxes and his tithes. Okay?
And
And
sucked dry by bandits and fools like you.
and to investigate some kind of weird deaths that are going on. So y'all's situation is kind of just ancillary to us, but we're here to learn and we're here to do right.
Okay, roll
By the
your-
holy day then.
Roll like a diplomacy. Diplomatize.
25. Unless we want to just kill him, I mean. He probably has acorns.
He probably doesn't have. He's probably eating whatever he wants and not acorns because he's still in.
You see that he's like, you know not of what you speak.
Yeah, clearly.
Things are not as they seem here.
So that's why you'll notice there aren't any guards in the room with us. And there are no guards in the room with us. Galen, is Galen? He's not here either. It's just us and you. We're here to learn. We listen twice as much as we talk.
I will not be made captive. I'll tell you that much. I will fight and die rather than be made a prisoner here.
I can tell you how much I would love to shed your blood, but I think a conversation can clear up any unneeded bloodshed.
I would tussle with you if you would see our blades cross. I'm not afraid of a fight.
Clearly. And look, I don't even have a weapon out here, first of all. A lady doesn't carry a weapon.
And I'm sorry,
I
but
you
you.
punctuate this moment where that he's dressed like a
He's putting on a
He's
lipstick.
cross-dressed and he's pulling it off.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
say-
you. That's all.
You continue to talk about how what we don't know, but you've told us nothing. So your words are shallow and empty.
This kingdom is being run into the ground by a lord that is selfish and petty and foolish. This kingdom needs better and deserves better.
So
And I mean to see it.
And this moment, as I'm talking to Chad, I'm going to use just my detect evil on him.
So I guess, you know what? Where are my manners? I told you my name. What's your name, friend?
I am Fulmer. And I am no friend to Galen Thornhaven.
Fulmer. I hardly know her.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
Zach, let me text you.
Have you seen that mechanical pencil anywhere, Joey?
Do you need one?
Well, I have one, but I don't know where it went.
You don't know, so tell me the detail that you know. You just know presence or absence.
Presence or absence. That is it. If there is, then I can detect it after the second round. So I'm going to keep it on him as we're having this conversation.
Got it. You're using the feely wheelies.
Yep.
To try to get him. Okay. He goes, is the Lady Ilaria safe? Has she been brought to harm?
No.
We haven't attacked you. What would we attack a woman, you dumbass?
First of all,
Insult
I'm
me again.
sorry about my friend.
So me again, and
right.
I'll show you what song my blade sings.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
Tell me more about yourself so I know how the best way to insult you, if I choose to.
Okay, this is just. Can we just take this down a notch?
Tell him to take it down a notch.
Yeah,
If you want to
probably
speak.
both. Take it down a notch.
Hey, listen.
The lady hasn't been hurt.
I'll drop my weapon. You drop yours. I drop my weapon, but I keep my shield on.
He sheathes his sword.
Okay, this is much better. Thank
And
you.
he says, he goes, I'd be more apt to speak if I could look all of you in the eye at the same time.
I invite him.
Kind
I
of
point him.
standing around him.
I point over towards the bed.
It's a good old fashioned gangbang.
Hey, he takes a few steps in a direction where you're not standing,
Mhm.
just to see if you'll let him out of the
Yeah.
triangle that you hold him in.
Mhm.
You see that he sizes you up and kind of relaxes a little bit more
Okay.
when he's able to step to an angle where you're not all around him.
That's a bit more comfortable, I think. So, again, we have not brought any harm to the lady. That's not how we do business, okay?
Good.
This is to better understand the situation that's going on here. Clearly, things are not in the best place right now, and we are trying to understand that. Brothers, the silent brothers are dying. People aren't paying their tithes. He's eating too many acorns.
There's a lot of acorns.
It's just a weird place, and we're trying to understand and make heads or tails of it.
Mhm.
Fulmer, right?
Yes.
That's right. Check, sorry, chat.
What?
My name's Fulmer, not you.
I say, Fulmer, I see no reason from your disposition and what has been granted me, bequeathed by the holy they and them, that there's no evil in your heart, so I can have a candid conversation with you. As the church, I seek to right what's wrong with the kingdom. First and foremost is answering to the murder of the Brotherhood of the Silent Monastery.
We had nothing to do with that, so you need not fear the foxtails for that.
Liars can lie even though they may not be evil. Second, to establish tithes, which you might have some connection, whether it be because of your banditry or whether the obvious mismanagement of Thornwood. So I feel an appropriate conversation can happen here.
Your
or
words stray dangerously close to insult again, and I've asked you not to insult me again. You think I lie to you? I tell you we had nothing to do with Prior Thalian's death. He was a good man.
I believe you on that matter. I will give you that grace. I need to understand more about how this kingdom and what you say about Galen. I understand mismanagement can some kind of be just construed as
There
pettiness.
is more than just mismanagement here. There's treachery in this family. I cannot speak all that I know, for I'm under oath. But I would tell you to ask more questions about the history of Thornhaven. And you'll start to find answers that might illuminate your thinking.
All right. Well, this is all nice, but this is pretty cryptic. Is there somebody that we can talk to that maybe?
So at
Can I talk
this
to your
point,
manager?
You guys can hear from downstairs and beyond that it sounds like you can hear a contingent of soldiers approaching.
What's the name of the hamlet?
It is Berrythorn. I
I
said
say-
Thornberry. It's not the wild thornberries. It's
I say I
Berrythorn.
doubt you'll have any. I doubt you'll have any issue escaping here. But we need to talk more. Give us 24 hours, and we'll meet you in the hamlet of Berryhaven if you feel that is an appropriate place to meet.
Berrythorn.
Mhm.
Berrythorn. If you feel that's an appropriate place to meet.
If you have not made camp with Lord Galen, if you can tell me now that you're not his sworn allies, then I will meet you again.
My eyes are open, and my buttocks have not chosen a seat to sit down on.
That's a metaphor. That's actually a metaphor I like a lot. He doesn't say that, but he's like, fair enough.
24 hours?
I'll find you.
So you probably need to get going right now.
I'm already gone. He steps through the door.
Okay, places everyone.
I love that you are like you're like a director for a high school play.
Chad, I'm going to quickly use my knowledge of religion, knowing that I'm going to have to lie.
Oh, sure.
Oh, honey, let me handle this.
This is interior, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, something else to keep in mind. Remember that the most important thing is the
Serving the
unraveling
church.
of mysteries.
So,
As soon as he told you there's a mystery and a question to be answered, it was like, yep, that's what we gotta do.
just I want to make sure to play to my own context. I feel that as long as I can lie to further the church, I do not have to feel like it's going against anything.
Perfect.
Like morally.
That's fine.
Do you want me to roll it raw knowledge
Sure,
religion?
go ahead.
I get back in the wardrobe.
You can hear Lord Galen's voice as he's approaching. Surely we've caught a fox tonight, yes? He's like coming up the stairs.
I'm just standing in the middle of the room. I'm picking up my warhammer.
Okay. He comes busting in, okay, and you can see that his ire is up. You notice a great change over him. His hair's disheveled, you know. You roll a spot check.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You've been slapped.
1.
19.
19, 1.
26.
Spot check,
Okay.
so Chad a total of 3.
Okay. So you two, you notice as he comes in the door that like on his knuckles here, they're like raw, like they're kind of like bloody on one of his knuckles as he comes walking in, and he's kind of shaking a little, like he's almost like a little bit on adrenaline, you know. And he comes in and he's like, "Did they come? Have we caught a fox?" Like he's looking in the room, and then you see his like concern. Other soldiers are coming in behind him.
I'm not even.
You see Sir Thorn comes in.
I look at
Thorn has to like step under the door because he's a little bit tall. You know?
I look at Brandon and I just kind of give him an eye of like, I'm going to let you roll with this because I don't want to.
What has happened? Everything was gone to plan, yes?
You know, I don't think it was late enough yet.
You mean he had... Wait,
I mean,
Perhaps
you
there's-
were supposed to leave us until this happened.
there's more time?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
I won't have this moment. I don't want to ruin the trap. I'm sorry.
Shh,
I'll
do you
come
hear
back.
that?
What is it?
I'm gonna lie.
He says, "Silence!" to the guards. Don't breathe, Sir Landon. You see, he's like upset.
It sounds like footsteps, and I'm gonna like run out the door and look around. Like,
Okay. All right.
you could roll my blow. I don't.
That's fine. Your bluff is a +10.
Yeah.
Damn, boy. Okay, you run out the door and you see that he's like holding his breath.
Oh shoot! They got away.
What? You see that he
Oh,
comes
my-
outside and is looking.
You're not. Oh shoot!
Don't let them get away! Run! Go! And you see that the guards start to scatter out down the stairs. And you see he goes up and he's leaning over the balcony, like looking out into the darkness. He's like, "Where did you see? Where have they gone? Like
So-
apparitions in the night?"
I am gonna point to where we saw the rope come from. Like, I'm not gonna like,
Okay.
because that guy's probably gone.
Yeah.
Be like,
He's not, he deserves to get caught.
yeah, exactly.
No,
and then
you
be
see
like,
that
"You're
there's
the
like the rope
incompetence."
is gone.
Yeah.
There's no like you come out and you're kind of looking and you can see that there's a notch in the tree, like in the some of the ornate what is it called, like the molding around the door there on this Princess Tower. Like it's clearly maybe an arrow or something was wedged in, but it's gone now.
And I
So
said,
you see he's looking.
the incompetency of your men has cost us, my lord.
You see
This
that
is
he's like,
why.
Damn.
This is why we were keeping it quiet.
Do
you have no
He's
trust
like
in us?
breathing and looking over the balcony, and he's like, is hanging his head, and he's like, I must go for tonight. I'll talk to you in the morning. You
Yeah.
see that he stands up and starts to walk out.
Hey, one last thing. Is your hand okay? Looks like you got hurt.
Oh, if he says that, I'm going to say, do you need healing? What happened?
You see that he looks at the hand and he's like, "Oh, look at that. I didn't notice." And he turns and starts to walk away.
Was it his blood?
looked like it could have been his, or it could have been his knuckles were broken open, or that could be somebody else's blood. You're not sure. But you see he walks away and the heaviness goes with him.